Here's the truth. You don't fail exams because you're bad at test taking. You fail an exam because your preparation started too late and you stayed too shallow when you were learning. Because most students only start studying weeks before the exam, while other students start preparing from week 1 and they use the exam as the final step, not the first real test. This is why most exam prep fails. Every semester I see the same things. Students attend lectures, they take a bunch of notes, they highlight, they reread, and then the exam comes and everything feels super blurry, or they black out, stress, and feel overwhelmed. It's not because they didn't work hard. In fact, some of these students put in more hours and score lower than others. It's because they stayed at the wrong levels of learning. Because learning has layers, and exams don't test you for these lower memorization and understanding layers. Here are the 5 layers that I'm talking about, and if you understand this is changing everything. Before we talk about the methods that I want you to implement, you need to understand these 5 layers. The first one is remembering. Can I recall the facts? The second one is understanding. Can I explain something in my own words? The third one is about application. Can I use it in a problem or a case, or can I solve something? The fourth one is analyzing. Can I break it down and do I see relationships? And the fifth one is evaluating. Can I judge? Can I compare, or can I choose the best option? We also have the creation layer, but that one is more used for assignments and essay writing, so we're leaving that out for this video. Most students stay stuck at remembering and maybe understanding. But exams these days really test you at applying, analyzing, and evaluating. So there's a gap. You're probably using flashcards, reading summaries, and highlighting stuff, which allows you to remember and understand things, but you're not there in the position yet to really apply, analyze, and evaluate information. So your preparation system must move up these layers from week 1. Phase 1. Preparation starts at the beginning of a semester. I can't emphasize this enough, and you've probably heard yourself saying, I will start again from the next semester, from the beginning, etc. Exam preparation does not start during exam week or the week before. It actually starts before the first lecture even happens. I'm going to lay out the exact system that we teach in our coaching program, step by step, such that you can implement it. Step number 1 is that you want to use the SQ3R method for preparation. Before lectures or readings, use the SQ3R method. It stands for surveying, such that you skim headings, summaries, and the learning goals. So you turn these headings, summaries, bold, italic words, images into questions. Then you read actively, not passively. You're going to try and find answers for the questions created in step number 2. Then you're going to try and recall. So you pause and you recall and try to answer your questions without looking too much into your book and your readings. And then you review. There's a short review within 24 hours, usually right after class. This does 2 things for you. A, you arrive prepared. Your brain has a limitation that we call rejection. By preparing, you prevent this from happening, and your class is not the first moment you see the material. Now, your brain has already hooks to hang this new information on. And to be clear, you're not learning yet. You're just building a foundation to build on for the rest of the semester. This step is super crucial, and most students already skip it. Phase number 2 is what happens after class. Active recall is non-negotiable. Here's where most students mess up. They leave the class and either do nothing, or they just reread their lecture slides or rewatch the lecture again. Instead, I want you to do this on the same day of your class. Active recall after class, which means you close your notes or you close the lecture slide and you ask yourself, what do I remember? Write it down, messy, on a piece of paper, on a whiteboard, talk it out loud, it doesn't matter. Then check what you have missed, and this already moves you from only remembering to identifying knowledge gaps and therefore creating better understanding. So the first layers. If you struggle here, that's completely fine, that's good. That struggle is what actually is building memory and retention. A lot of students get stuck here, only focusing on memorization techniques by using flashcards. And flashcards are great for the first and second repetition, but after that, you should move to more advanced methods. Because if it feels easy, you're probably just either rereading or you're not really learning. That's the truth behind learning. Easy doesn't equal good results. Phase number 3, repetition with exam style questions. Now we're going to move from remembering and understanding to application, evaluating, and analyzing. Once or twice per week, you should work with exam style questions, practice problems, cases, essays, multiple choice with reasoning. And this is where really the applying, the analyzing, and the evaluation comes into place. Now, there's an important rule. The questions are not only for testing yourself, they are also for learning. Every wrong answer is actually showing you what you misunderstood and where your knowledge gap is. So that is super valuable information. This also identifies and helps you to figure out what level you are stuck on. And you want to start seeing this as feedback and not failure. And I recently uploaded a recording of our live workshop from our paid program where I talked about the metacognition cycle. And if you understand that cycle, will help you understand this principle of learning and reflecting even more. Phase number 4 is about how to think during the exams. Let's talk about exam execution, because even well-prepared students occasionally lose points here. Rule number 1 for exams is that you do want to over-deliver on open questions. If there's space to write, I want you to use it. I want you to brain dump everything that is related. This is important, related. I want you to share the definitions. I want you to write out the formula. I want you to give possible assumptions, maybe steps, because more content is more chances that you hit points and you share what the teachers actually want to hear. This is especially useful in essays, in science applications, maybe in economics or calculative courses. I want you to write a lot first and then edit later if you need it. The important note is to keep it relevant. Answer the question. Not just spitfire everything you know about a topic, because then you might miss the relevance and you might miss points. Rule number 2 is that you always show your thinking. For mathematics, physics, statistics, finance, even if you don't know the final answer, write the steps that you took. Write assumptions, write formulas, because you can also get partial credit. A blank page or like no answer will definitely get you 0 points, but an imperfect process can possibly get you points. On some of my finance courses or statistic courses, I still got 3 out of 5 points because I got the majority correct, but missed a minor detail somewhere and therefore didn't have the right answer in the end. But the professor still rewarded me for the parts that I did well. Rule number 3 is that I want you to think about expert mode when you're getting stuck. If your mind goes blank on a question, I want you to ask yourself, if I were explaining this to someone else, what would I say? Or what similar problems have I seen before? So thinking back about your preparation that we, discussed in this earlier part of the video, what similar problems have I seen before? This activates again the understanding and the thinking back in solutions instead of getting you to panic. Stress during the exam is fine, okay? I want you to use it and I don't want you to fight against it. A little bit of stress actually makes you more alert and could help you therefore perform better. Some stress is good. Zero stress means that you usually don't care at all. And eventually your goal is to have calm focus and not like no stress at all. Here's what I want you to do when stress hits. I want you to slow your breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth, regulates the nervous system. Then I want you to reread the question slowly. And I want you to skip it if you feel that it's too difficult or you're stuck. So skip it if needed. Or if you feel like you're capable of doing it, treat it like a challenge, not like a real threat. I want you to remind yourself that you've trained for this. If you followed the learning plan that I shared with you in the beginning of this video, you should be well prepared, because confidence comes from preparation and repetition under simulated exam pressure, which is what we've covered by, practicing with the mock exam, the practice problems, the case studies, and the essays. The last part I want to talk about is time management throughout the exam. So time management strategies. The goal at first is to see every question. So I want you to move like fast and ideally go through the exam from A to Z before you start answering the first questions. I also want you to skip questions that block you, because you are probably going to get more points with questions later down the line than wasting time trying to figure out and answer this one question that is going to cost you 10 minutes. So I want you to mark them and come back later. For multiple choice, in terms of preparation, you've practiced your material with open-ended questions in an ideal situation. This will help you answer MCQs more detailed. I want you to read the question and try to answer them from memory first. Then I want you to scan the answers and then let the answers guide your thinking and double check if it's aligned with your own thoughts. This saves you a bunch of time and it reduces overthinking. The day before, I just want you to do a light review, no new material, focus on actually sleeping. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep, not extra study hours, not cramming throughout the night. And right before the exam, I don't want you to check social media. I don't want you to get negative input. I don't want you to discuss things with your friends, because this is going to create a gray cloud in your brain that prevents you from actually recalling information. What you want is you want a clear mind, you want good energy, and you want just confidence in your systems, not someone else, pouring in stupid questions and making you feel unconfident. The real key that connects everything here in this story is confidence. Not fake confidence, but earned confidence through proof, successes, and failures. I dedicated a whole video on this topic the other week, as everything is aligned with each other. But here's the summary. When you have actually done what I shared with you in the video, implemented the methods, and you prepared early, you used active recalling methods, you practice at exam level, and you trust the process, you will stop second guessing yourself and stop doubting yourself, and you stop panicking and you start taking action. So if you follow this plan, you will score higher on your next exam, and that boosts your confidence again. And this is going to be a win-win. If your exam prep only starts at exam week, you're already behind. I hate to break it to you, but I'm here to tell you honest truths, not just to sugarcoat everything. So I want you to start at the beginning of the semester. Use the right methods, train the right layers of learning, and don't get stuck by only reading, summarizing, and making flashcards. Exams and learning is strategic, so then be strategic about it. If you need support passing exams, click the link in the description.